Hey everybody, welcome to episode 38 of Two Guys, Zero Planners. This week we've got a third wheel, and that's going to be Phil Olin. How you doing, Phil?
Pretty good. How are you?
Well...
Glad to be here.
I mean, I'd be doing better if you had added stuff to the show notes, but, I mean, I guess I get what I pay for.
You didn't add anything to the show notes either.
I add my personality to every show.
I added personality to your recently added personality notes to the episode notes.
Urban, save us.
I added too much. I had to delete stuff from the show notes.
Well, that'll be good then. So this will probably be the first episode out of all the episodes we've had where I actually don't talk that much and we actually get to hear about stuff that you're doing.
Yeah. So an update from last time where we talked about the Pro Gear Slim and the Kaweco Sport and how I sort of said I like the Sport more. Turns out my hand cramps came from sleeping on the wrong shoulder and not from the pen. So I think I'm fine with the Pro Gear Slim. It's just, I think it's actually nice that the nib is bigger and longer than the Kaweco Sport ones.
So you were trying to push your bad sleeping habits onto whether or not a pen was good?
Yeah, sometimes I thought it was the grip of the pen that gave me the pain in the hand, but then I discovered that I just slept a few nights on that side, and that sort of messed it up.
Well,
and now it's all fine, and I can write with both of them.
I mean, that sounds pretty much like something I would do, so I guess that's valid for our show.
Mm-hmm. You just do it by playing the violin for 8 hours straight, right?
Yeah. I've quit doing that, so I haven't jacked up my shoulder anymore, which is a good thing. And the horrible screeching noises have gotten a little bit better, so my dogs no longer run to the other room when I start playing.
Did they really?
Oh, it was bad. When I first started, they would just take off to the other room as quickly as humanly possible. So the screeching weasel probably had more musical talent than I did. So you are liking the Pro Gear Slim, though?
Yes. It has a zoom nib, which is kind of great. And I've put in one of my old favorites, Diamine Meadow, which is kind of a dry ink, and that worked perfectly. So I'm liking it even more now.
Oh, very nice. Glad that's actually working out for you, and you figured out that maybe you should pay more attention to how you're sleeping.
Maybe, in general, that's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, I always find that 5 glasses of wine before bed work a lot better than 7. So, I mean, that's really my sleeping habit that I need to work on.
Yeah. I found that drinking beer before going to bed is a bad idea.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
For one, I have to get up at, I don't know, a few hours later and pee. And for some reason, I also can't sleep when I drink beer. So maybe this tequila sunrise will be better.
Yeah, tequila's pretty good for keeping you down.
Yeah, but I just didn't have any tequila, so it's gin. Still the orange juice and the grenadine.
What about you, Phil? Any sleeping secrets there?
Go to bed. Wake up in the morning.
Yeah, like that's
my secret.
Like that's happening with a small kid, right?
Apparently she woke up at 2:00 in the morning Saturday night. I didn't hear it.
Wait, how have you already developed the ability to sleep through it?
I don't know, but I have.
Huh.
It sort of works when you know that there's someone else who will get up. And once you know that that person is not there, you wake up with the tiniest noise the kids make.
I will take both of your words for it. So, what's this about shoving a stub in a Moonman?
Yes, so last time I think I talked about the Moonman M8, so this kind of...
Is this a space joke?
I mean, it can be if you want it to be, but it wasn't meant to be.
Anyway. I think last time I had a silver or steel colored 1.1 stub in the Moonman M8, and it just didn't look right with all the gold furniture. So I spent 10 euros for a gold-plated one. And now it sort of matches. It doesn't quite match the rest of the metal on the pen, but it's close enough that I'm fine with it.
So
is the M8 the sparkly radon kind of one?
Yes, that's the one.
Oh, I have one of those in my possession right now. I need to mail out.
Yeah, I really like it. It's a nice pen and really well built for the money, I think.
I just swapped in a Mark Bacchus architect for the new owner.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, you were that actually happened? I didn't know whether or not that had actually taken place.
I sold a pen item in my house.
Wow.
It was only a nib.
Yeah, but still, just wow. I didn't know the whole transaction had taken place. I mean, I know we kind of tangentially talked about it during a D&D session, but I didn't know that had actually come to fruition.
Pen arrived Friday. Got everything swapped, did a little dip test, and I'll package it up and get it out on Monday.
Nice.
Yeah, speaking of getting pens out, I should have Andrew's 823 back to him soon, hopefully.
But not his 845?
No, the 845 is staying behind.
Is that a story you want to talk about?
I might as well, because you've already read the script for the video for it, Urban. So you already know I'm going to talk about it anyway, so I might as well talk about it here. So I woke up after getting paid. The first thing I did while I was going through my morning routine was I opened up PayPal and I sent off the first payment to Andrew for the 845. I'm like, okay, it's an Urushi pen. I like the way it feels. I'm going to buy it. And then I go ahead and I sit down and I start drawing out some grinds. And I'm like, okay, I need to finish my morning routine, go to work, do all that fun stuff. And I come out of the bathroom and Karma, my smaller of two dogs, is sitting there on the bed, blue lips, with an 845 gently tucked in her paws, and she's nibbling on the nib. Yeah.
Nice. They're not supposed to do that.
No, they're not supposed to do that. So I got the pen away from her, ended up cleaning out her mouth with dish soap. It was the only thing that would get the ink out. There was a huge gouge in the white gold portion of the nib, and both times the tipping had been completely gnawed off, so I had to keep an eye on her for a little bit. She later threw that stuff up, so she's fine. But the nib was mangled, and even though I watched her tooth actually hit the Urushi on the section, she didn't scratch it, so the Urushi held up better than the nib. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, I ended up making a modification to the pen to salvage what I could of the 18-karat nib, and then I tried to salvage her dignity by saying that I just felt like being a wild and crazy guy, and then Andrew forced the truth out of me.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to protect the innocent, because Karma didn't know any better. She's just a dog. She just does dog things. And it was my fault.
But she isn't innocent.
Right, yeah. So it was my fault for leaving the pen out. And now I have a really interesting custom 845 that still writes amazingly well, but it's no longer a two-tone nib. And it no longer resembles a regular nib.
Yeah, it looked really weird. That is true.
It does look really weird, but it writes really smooth. So that's the important thing. It doesn't have any flow issues. It still writes. And the body is still in good shape. So if I find anyone that has an 845 that's trashed and they're just selling it for the nib or whatever the case may be, I may pick it up. Oh, and in other news, I picked up an 823 for $100.
Oh, wow, that's a good...
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah.
What?
That's some guy's stuff right there.
Okay, fair enough. To be fair, it is one of my YouTube viewers that had too many pens and hadn't touched this particular 823 because he has another 823 with a nib that he likes better. So he watched my 823 video and he sent me a text message and he's like, hey, I'll sell it to you for $100. And I'm like, oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I'll buy it. To be fair, it does have one scuff on the cap.
Ah, horrible.
I've already looked at some plastic buffing materials. I can probably get that scratch out really easy. So, yeah.
But when you decide you don't like it anymore.
No. I've been wanting an 823 since we did BYOB, Phil.
Right. So when you decide you don't like it anymore.
I'll sell it to you for 200. Yeah, sure. That'll work.
No.
I'll sell you the 845 at a discount.
No, I'd rather have the 823.
Yeah, I know, which is why I'm not going to sell it to you.
But what if you get bored?
Then I'm going to keep it. I'm sorry, man. The 823 is not leaving. The 823 is in the same situation as the M600.
That's not what you said like 2 days ago.
Shut up. You don't get to quote me on stuff.
Hold on.
Wait, are you scrolling through... You are not allowed to quote me. He's actually scrolling through Slack.
Nope, I'm not.
Yeah, his quick denial means he's definitely doing it.
I'm definitely not doing that.
So, should we mention the ink thing as well while I'm doing the list of my stuff?
The video?
The Papier Plume thing?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Papier Plume released a limited edition anniversary ink, and I went ahead and bought 2 bottles. And one of them I'm giving away. But you have to watch the video on the YouTube channel to see what you need to do in order to win that bottle.
Mm-hmm. Do you already have entries?
I don't think so, because people are lazy, and I purposely didn't put the giveaway in the description for the video to see how many people would actually watch it all the way.
So you have to watch it, then do the thing, and then take a picture of it and upload it to that certain site with the correct. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. It's one of those things like where the teacher hands you a test, and on the very last page of the test is instructions that say, do not answer any of the questions on this test, and hand it right back in. I had a professor do that just to see if students would actually read through all the questions first, like they had kept asking the students to do. Mm-hmm. And like only 2 of us out of 100 got it right. It was so much fun. So yeah, that's what we're doing there.
I have to backtrack just a little bit. The direct quote is probably not, but it's a chalking block eligible pen.
What? I did not say that.
Yep.
I could not have been talking about the 823. Now I've got to pull Slack up. Oh, by the way, I do have a sample vial of Lamy Mango. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that while I go ahead and pull this up.
Yeah. So I went to the drugstore, and they also sell fountain pens and stationery, and I just couldn't help myself. And picked up the Lamy Safari Mango, so the pen. And I'm pretty tempted to get the other 2 as well, because they look really cool because they have this matte finish, and it's basically all the same color, which is nice and nicer than the others, where this stuff where it just doesn't match. And somehow I'm also not a fan of the glossy finish. I find those surprisingly ugly. I mean, at some point they have to try to make the clip also matte. That would be really cool.
Are the new pastel, the 3 pastel color safaris, all the textured ones?
What do you mean textured?
Like the matte, like dark lilac, charcoal finish.
No, I don't think so. They look pretty shiny to me.
Okay, I'm looking at that color. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, those yellows are difficult, I find. I mean, the one I enjoy is Platinum Citrus Black, so this Iron Gall ink.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just, even for me, that stuff is too light. Plus, a lot of the yellow inks are just super dry and not a lot of fun.
Yeah, one of my pen pals sent me a sample vial of the ink. I've got it sitting over here on the desk. I'll probably film a review of it before I disappear to the desert for a bit. I don't know. Actually, I don't even know if I'll be able to disappear to the desert at this point. But,
Is it safe to disappear to that part of the desert?
That part of the desert, yes. If I go further into the desert, probably not.
And also, will you have to quarantine for 2 weeks if you do venture to that part of the desert?
I've been quarantining for the last 4 months.
Right, but it doesn't matter if you're coming from a state into another state.
I know.
Like New York is saying, everybody that comes from these stupid states where they aren't doing anything needs to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Well, Oklahoma is a even dumber state, so inbound quarantine is not something our state has done yet. But
No, I meant when you go to the other state.
Oh, yeah, I have no idea. I'll check before I go, but I'm also going to talk to my boss and see if they want me to take my work laptop just in case I get stuck there. Since I've been working at home, all I need is a good, stable internet connection. So, who knows?
Which most of America doesn't have.
Yeah, but I went ahead and checked. My mother's got 150 down and 58 up. And it's pretty consistent. The ping down to Phoenix from her house is only 21 milliseconds. So that's not bad going to a central hub.
Nope.
Yeah. But back to the pen. I don't think the color justifies having to deal with that grip.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But I have a weird grip, and this never really worked for me. But somehow I was able to make it work.
Well, definitely more power to you. Yeah.
I went through this all and basically sold all my Safaris to the Petrol and the Dark Lilac and everything, and only kept the Vista, but somehow I couldn't resist this one. And now I'm already thinking what other yellow pens are there that I might have to look at.
Well, that's okay. My dumb butt's trying to figure out whether or not I want to borrow a Lamy 2000. I love the nib. I love the nib on the 2000. But I think I actually sold mine to Phil.
No, you bought yours from me.
Oh, yeah. I did. Huh. Also, Phil, I hate you. I just saw the picture.
I didn't do it.
I saw the picture and you quoted me, and it was accurate, so I hate you.
You're welcome. Would I lie to you?
Yes. Yeah, let's get away from that quote. What was all this care package stuff from Japan from Fude Fan?
Yeah, so Jacob at some point said that he wanted to send me some ink samples, and then the pandemic came and we postponed that a bit, and then eventually he said, oh yeah, I've sent you something a while back, maybe you want to check it's arrived. And then not only did he send me some samples, let me take it. Yeah. And then he sent me a nice postcard with it that says, hi Urban, here are some goodies from Japan. I heard you're running out of ink. Which is kind of not really true. And then he also sent me a Tsubame notebook, and he also sent me a pen. So basically everything you need for a complete stationery package, which is pretty cool.
So what pen did he end up sending you?
A Laban Mento, which I had never heard of before. And that's a really, really fat pen. The has a number 6 sized nib, apparently made by Bock. And the grip is really, really fat, bigger than some of the Opus 88 ones, I think. But it's super comfortable. And it only takes 1.5 turns to uncap, and yeah, it's really nice. Really, really cool pen.
I do like the colorway on it.
Yeah, I'm not entirely the biggest fan of this sort of muddy yellow tortoise shell thing, but the pen is really, it writes really nicely. So I'm okay with that then.
And you said it's a Bock nib.
Well, it's a custom Laban nib, but apparently the internet tells me it's made by Bock.
So you have a Bock nib that actually writes.
Yes, it writes really well. Well, I mean, the stub I put in the Moonman also wrote fine from the start.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. I still don't think Bock is well, you know my feelings on Bock.
Some Bach nibs are okay.
Yes, some are.
And I'd say a tuned Bach is better than a tuned Yovo sometimes.
Well, it depends on who does the tuning.
Yeah, and sometimes you actually want to have a nib that just works out of the box.
Exactly. Wow. So wait, what color are those inks?
Well, one's blue, one's brown, and the other's blackish.
All right, let me...
Well, I was asking because it's obvious that Urban has a filter on this picture, so I wanted to see if that was true to color or if there was some contrast issues going on here, okay?
All right, let me find them. All right, so there's this NE6 Bongo Lab Tohoku Basic Blue, which is a really, I don't know, sky blue, really light blue. The Kobayashi Yayoi, which is kind of a brown, light brown. Yeah, fairly light, but I mean, it's not kind of KWC honey territory, but it's not, I don't know how to describe it. Fairly light. And number 3 is Maruzen Marine Blue, which is fairly dark, and it looks like it sheens a bit as well. But I
close.
haven't inked any of them, because contrary to what Jacob believes, I haven't run out of ink yet.
Yeah, I'm still working on getting rid of more ink. Well, it's just one of those things, man. Once I review an ink, I really don't feel the urge to keep it unless it's turquoise.
Yeah. I'm trying to go through all my samples, and then when I start a sample, I also want to finish it up. So I've started to use eyedroppers that are really wet and stub nibs and stuff like that. And I'm slowly making progress.
All you have to do is start, just take some of your gin and then pour the ink in there with the gin.
You're not supposed to drink the ink.
Instead of the grenadine? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, instead of the grenadine, just pour in a little bit of Bay State Blue.
Yeah, but they will start to fall out. At least Bay State Blue, probably.
Yeah, I wonder if I'm gonna get in any trouble ending my videos with "Remember, don't drink the ink." Did we trademark that on our last podcast?
I don't think so.
Okay, I was about to say because I figured that was a better ending for my YouTube videos than. And I'll see you next week. It just seems better.
And also more, I don't know, you don't have to come back next week, right?
Well, it'd be nice if I would quit throwing my voice out. That's the biggest thing. Right now, I can tell my voice is pretty much shot. So by the end of today, I'm going to be screwed. But luckily, this week's video is already done. So, oh wait, no, I already released it to the world. Okay, yeah. Which actually, how is it doing? Why am I checking YouTube right now?
Yeah, we're busy recording.
Oh, hey, I have 901 subscribers. And yeah, wait a second. Someone already unliked it? If you're gonna not like a video, at least leave a comment telling me why you don't like it.
Maybe they just hit the wrong button.
Yeah, no. Maybe. I don't know. But it ruined my streak. Well, I mean, the Pilot 823 video ruined my streak, but I had gone all the way from Pelican 4001 Pink to KWZ Walkover Vistula and had a 100% like ratio on all those videos. And then I get to the Pilot 823 and 2 people actually dislike that video. Oh no, 3 people now. 3.
Oh.
Yeah. They must really hate custom grinds or just really hate Pilot.
Or both, yeah.
Yeah. We'll go with both.
Probably.
What is Urban doing? I see him bouncing around the show notes.
Nothing.
I think he did something to the shut up.
Not yet.
No, it's still the same.
Oh, okay. So, while I'm in the YouTube, Urban, you got a shout out?
I did, yeah. So, Alessa, also from Japan, from Tokyo, on Instagram, on YouTube as Inky Rocks. She does those fun videos with all the ink and the water and throwing the bottles around and stuff like that. And in one of her recent videos, she also talked about FPC briefly. It's not something she uses herself, which is fine, but it was really nice to get mentioned. Together with, how was it called? Inks. Was it inkswatches.com? My internet is slow. I forget what the site is called, where you can compare where someone has uploaded them, or
Inkswatch.
Inkswatch.com, which is cool because it's all from one source. So hopefully it's easier to compare because you don't have to sort of color correct for multiple people. It's just one person doing it.
I thought it was multiple people doing it.
Well, one person does the swatching and the other person does the tech and the scanning, as far as or photography, as far as I know.
I mean, I'm completely lost. What website are we talking about here? Inkswatch.com?
Inkswatch.com, yeah.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Compare by color family turquoise. My wallet's dead.
Yeah. I mean, there is sort of, you also have colors on FPC, but this is sort of, I think this stuff here is just much more accurate, and I've been thinking about how I can sort of integrate or link to it in a nice way. I'm not yet sure, or I'm basically have to find the time to look into it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can find a way to do it.
There's more yellows than turquoises. Interesting.
Well,
if you look at their contact and contribute, people can upload, but they want, like they mentioned about color balancing and making sure that it's color accurate before you send it in. Or if you can mail them the card and then they'll scan it in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit of crowdsourced.
Yeah. Ugh. As soon as you say the words color matching, like just a chill goes down my spine. Well, I mean, I've started doing a 2-camera review setup, and one of them's a Fuji and the other's a Panasonic, so they don't use the same color science.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to sit there and take a picture of a color checker card, then make sure that picture of the color checker card was accurate, and then take still shots from both cameras, and then create lookup tables for each camera to match that chart that was color matched to the primary chart.
Was it fun, at least?
Describe fun. I mean, if you consider going to the dentist and having 5 consecutive root canals done fun, then yeah, it would be about that level.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a lot of tedious work, but at least now I just drag a preset effect onto the camera and it's done. But getting that initial lookup table is a pain. And yeah, I could definitely see why they've got a thing there showing how to properly make a color tile.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're going to do anything that's crowdsourced like that and you want it consistent, then yeah, you're definitely going to want to make sure people are following your format and doing it correctly. Because it's amazing how different turquoise can look if you add just a little too much green in your color science.
Yeah, I mean, that's super difficult. And I mean, in the end, you also, in theory, it would, I mean, if you're using different paper, all bets are off anyway, right? How can you even compare if you do the swaps on different paper? And maybe how can you even compare if you use different methods to make your swaps? I'm not sure that's useful.
And then you've got someone like me that does everything on Tomoe River paper, so I've actually got people asking me to start using multiple papers in my reviews.
I mean, you are, right? For the water test.
Yeah, but they're also wanting me to use different papers for the writing tests as well. So like a writing sample on Tomoe along with a writing sample on Rhodia, and then do the water sample on each. And it's just like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that and still keep it in a 5 to 7 minute video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't even use Rhodia anymore.
Yeah. My primary diary is bank paper. So really, I'm just a bank paper and Tomoe River person at the moment. And then Rhodia for water samples, because Rhodia is cheap and I don't mind ruining that paper.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, if you could figure out how to buy a ream of Tomoe River, then it gets pretty cheap.
Yeah, but then you have to figure out how to buy a ream of it. Speaking of paper, though, let's round out the main topics with Urban's last bullet point here.
Yes, so I went shopping with my 7-year-old for his birthday party. I'm not sure how it is in the US, but here you're sort of supposed to give the guests in the end some kind of party bag with random crap, basically. So we went shopping and I wanted to make it somewhat useful. So we ended up with a lot of stationery. which is nice. And I happened to walk by this notebook, and it was like less than €9, so I had to pick it up. And it is a weird name because the company is called Online, which I think they were founded in 1991, and it was a really cool concept here in Germany. That word just wasn't in use, but I mean, nowadays that's kind of a weird name, especially for a fountain pen company. So the selling, sort of the marketing thing with this notebook is that the cover is made out of recycled PET plastic bottles, and then they made some kind of weave out of it. Looks a bit like stonewashed jeans a bit. And when I opened it, I realized that the dot grid seemed off to me. And when I got home, I actually measured it, and it's not 5mm like most, but 4.5mm. And somehow that is super noticeable. Not as nice as a 4mm dot grid, but still better. And I like it. Yeah, I mean, the paper isn't that great. I'm not sure you would really be able to call it super fountain pen friendly, but I'm trying to get away from Tomoe River for work anyway, because then you just write, you get to the end of the page, and then you wait a minute before you can turn the page, which is kind of annoying. So, I'm playing around with stuff, for example, like a notebook like this, or I've just inked up a Platinum 3776 with a fine nib and put in an iron gall ink to make it fairly dry. Maybe that also helps, and I can still use my Tomoe River then. Yeah, but I mean, worst case, I'll switch to pencils, which I guess would also be fun for a while.
Right. I mean, that is one thing I do appreciate one thing about bank paper for my primary journal, and that is the fact that I can get to the end of the page and immediately go to the next one, because the ink surprisingly dries better on bank paper than Tomoe River. Go figure.
Yeah. I mean, my journal is Tomoe River, and then when I write with the super wet stub, then I wait a minute or two before I can sort of continue, and it's basically in the middle of a thought, which is kind of annoying.
Those are the best breaks, though.
Well, what are you using for a journal, Phil?
Still a 7Cs writer, but I generally don't write more than a page a day, so I don't really have that problem.
Depending on the nib determines how many pages I'll go. If it's a fine or a medium, then I'll go 1 page. If it's a broad, then I end up going 2 or 3.
Yeah, exactly.
So, since a lot of my pens happen to be fatter nibs, then yeah, I tend to go 2 or 3 pages. I say a lot of my pens. I don't have that many. Holy crap, I've got 7 pens. What's happened to me?
You've only got 3 that aren't on the chopping block.
Shut up, Phil. You're not getting the 823.
I was going to say I have more pens inked than you have pens in total, but I only have 6 inked, so that's not quite true.
I have 12 pens inked.
Wow.
And that's after I cleaned out 3 last night that I wrote dry.
I used to be like that, and then I realized that getting rid of pens that I don't use often somehow felt like the right thing to do.
Yeah, less pens for the dogs to chew on.
Yeah, let me guess. This is going to be the new, why don't you stir your coffee with it?
Maybe. Sometimes it's nice to sort of switch, right? And
yeah,
I'm sure I'll come back to the coffee thing.
Yeah, just wait till I accidentally stir the coffee with the 845.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. I did it with a Pelican Stone Garden.
Really? Wasn't it the Nakaya?
I did it with a Nakaya too, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Which I don't own either of those pens anymore, which is weird. Although I have been looking at a Nakaya again. I need to quit doing that. Every time I get one of those, something bad happens.
Speaking of looking at pens, so my birthday is in the beginning of August, and if the listeners have any ideas, maybe sub $200 range would be interesting to see what you can kind of come up with. I don't know what I want, but I want something.
Well, if I didn't already have dibs on it, you could have Yvgenii's 823.
That's true. Damn.
Why are you guys already... I would rather... I would sell my Twisby before I sold the 823.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that of course is true.
Actually, quick tangent. What are your thoughts on knurled grips?
I need to try the Twisby knurling, but every time I hold the tactile turn gist, like I hate it. Like I want to throw it away, kind of hate it.
Yeah, like the knurling feels okay on my index and middle fingers, but it does not feel comfortable on my thumb, which sucks. I love the color of the Prussian Blue Twisby, but that knurling, man, that knurling is very divisive.
Yeah, I don't even have any pens with knurling on the grip, I think.
Like, to me, it almost feels like someone took 200 grit sandpaper and wrapped it around the section, and you're literally gripping the sandpaper.
Oh, no, I'd rather grip the sandpaper than the gist.
Ooh. Huh. Yeah. You know what you could do for your birthday, though, Urban? You could get the lime green Pelican M200 and then pick up a Pelican M400 gold nib for it. That should get you under €200.
That is true. That is true, the lime green.
Mm-hmm. Although you like the steel nibs on the Pelicans, if I recall.
Yeah, but I've never tried a gold nib, so it would be interesting to actually try that.
And it's been a while since we've talked about that abomination of a lime green Pelican.
True, or I could just get the M400 tortoise shell, which is just above 200 here.
Ooh, okay. You get the tortoise shell, and I will trade you the 823 for the tortoise shell. That way I can anger Phil.
If I want to keep the tortoise shell?
Then no.
I think what he's saying is buy 2 tortoise shells, send one to Yvgenii, and then he'll send you an 823.
No, it's getting complicated.
Yeah, that's getting too complicated. And besides, I like the 823.
I'm currently on Amazon. The M400 with a B nib for €182. That's nice.
Ooh.
It sounds like it's missing a B.
Yeah, hey, Pelican double broad nibs are pretty good nibs. This is horrible. We've lost Urban down in the Amazon rabbit hole.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm also looking at is FP nibs and maybe get some crazy grind.
Fair enough. I'll do the grind for you. I know how to salvage a nib that's been nibbled on by a dog.
Sorry, I only have kids here, but I guess the outcome could be the same.
Hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and... I found the listener question that I want us to tackle since Phil's here. The one from Brian Stalter. What products are the most overrated or overpriced in the stationery world?
I mean, at least here in Europe, Sailor, Platinum, and Pilot are overpriced.
We have that problem here where Pelican and Pilot and Sailor are overpriced in the US too.
Yeah, but at least I can order a Pelican from Colt Pens and get it decently priced.
Right, but you're going outside of the domestic market.
Well, okay, but the question just says stationery world as a whole.
Well, fine then. Picky.
Hey, I'm not the one that wrote the question. If you want to blame the listeners, that's fine, but I have to deal with it because I'm a permanent host.
I think the Mont Blanc Elixir inks are definitely overpriced.
That is true.
Now, I know the pens are overpriced because they use precious resins, but what's the deal with the ink? Are the inks made out of, like, blood of unicorns or something?
Pretty much. I can't remember what exactly they're...
Some kind of natural ingredients, and I don't even remember how expensive they are. I mean, these days Mont Blanc inks are super expensive anyway. Especially, I mean, the limited edition stuff, but yeah.
I think it's like $80 for a 50 ml bottle.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, I know it's pretty easy to pick on Mont Blanc for their prices, but as far as, like, being overrated,
Overpriced. How about those new Sailor cartridges? $6 for 3 cartridges. I mean, the packaging is cute with this nice book, and you can make a bookcase full of inks, but...
Yeah, that's pretty overpriced. You know, I would say something that's really overrated that a lot of people are gaga for. Colorverse.
Oh, yo. And those nice 5 milliliter...
The bottles are cool. The bottles are really cool, but the colors are meh.
I didn't like Colorverse Schrodinger until I put it in my titanium nib, and now I actually like it because it shades and actually looks nice.
You can get a good shading green from Robert Oster.
It's not sheening, it's shading.
I said shading.
Oh, it sounded like sheening.
Well, I said shading.
I mean, Robert Oster has probably everything anyway, so you can get both.
Well, and it's going to be cheaper.
I got it as a sample, so I was just using it up. But I tried it in fine nibs, I tried it in medium nibs, I tried it in broad and double broad, and this is the first time I've actually liked it.
Well, if I had known, I would have sent you more of that ink before I dumped the bottle. But yeah, I think as far as overrated goes, I think the colors from Colorverse are kind of overrated. The bottles are on point. Like, they have a good bottle game going. The colors just aren't there. I think there's far better colors at better prices. And yes, I'll probably review more Colorverse inks on the channel and probably give them good reviews, because even though the colors are meh and not for me, they may be for some of my listeners. And I have to be objective when I do reviews.
Yeah. I don't know if there's really much overrated and overpriced. I mean, the prime example is, of course, Moleskin, right?
Yeah.
That's definitely overrated.
But that's it. I mean, with the stuff that we generally think of and talk about, I'd say most of it is pretty, I mean, it might be expensive, but it's good quality. So if you want to pay for it, then why not?
You know, I think if our listeners were going to say something being overrated, I have a strange feeling, actually, there's probably a few people right now screaming at their podcast, why aren't you talking about Tomoe River being overrated?
Because for what it is and what it offers, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess sometimes you should sort of at least think about different paper, because for some use cases, it is just not good because it takes so long to dry. I mean, until recently, I just used Tomoe River for everything because the ink looks so great and it's fun to write on. I'm slowly going away from this, at least for work stuff, because I actually want to be able to turn the page without smearing the last, 2 sentences I wrote.
I think that, like you said, for ink performance, Tomoe River is where it's at because you're going to get a lot of the color profile from it, which is why I use it for reviews. It looks nice on camera. But as far as like value proposition, I don't think it's 100% there. I don't think the price to performance ratio is there for Tomoe. So I do think that I would agree with some people that, yeah, in that situation, it is a little bit overrated.
Yeah. On the other hand, it is kind of magical because I've never had any pen. I mean, there's paper where some pens just don't work. I've never found a pen that wasn't, I don't know whether nib didn't have an issue that then didn't write on Tomoe River. If the pen is fine, it just writes on Tomoe River, even if you put in the driest ink you can find. And unlike something like Rhodia, where some really smooth nibs just skip all the time, and it's sort of also smooth enough that really, really, really fine nibs also work great on it, which on other paper it wouldn't work because it's too toothy. And yeah, it is great paper, but there's always a downside, I guess.
I mean, yeah, it's not for everybody, but it kind of is the do everything except dry quickly paper for fountain pens.
That's true.
Yeah. At some point, we really need to get Daryl on the show so we can talk paper with him.
Yes. That may or may not be in the works already. There's some tentative talking going on about it.
Wow, you're going behind me to schedule things. Almost like your new podcast.
Oh yeah, my new podcast. But this is sort of a completely different topic, not like the other stationary podcast that I pretend to do, but haven't done for a while. Yeah,
you should get on that.
I should. It's kind of hard to find a time where it works for 4 people.
Boy, I know that headache.
Yes.
Except your headache was bigger.
Yeah, because I had to put up with both you and Michael in the same show.
And all the alcohol.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Michael? What's wrong with Michael and I?
You're the king of dad jokes. He's the king of segues. Put those two together, and you have a show that goes off the rails within the first 5 minutes.
Well, if you just have the show be on rails, then it's off. Then it's going to be fine.
So what's this new podcast about, Urban?
Yeah. So this new podcast is with a friend/colleague of mine here from Munich. She works at a different tech company than I do, but we are sort of in the same field. She's currently managing developers. I'm still a developer, although I did some management in the past. Yeah, and we talk about what we've done in the last 2-3 weeks, what came to our mind, mostly about management, self-improvement, and stuff like that. It's basically, we record a conversation we would have had anyway, and then sometimes one of us has an issue and we talk about it, and it's a lot of fun to record. Plus, it's only 2 people, so editing doesn't take too long.
There is that. Editing only 2 people is a nice change of pace.
Yes.
From editing 10.
Well, now you have 3.
Yeah, but you didn't do much. You didn't do that much talking, so it should be pretty easy.
I did some talking.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Are you just going to edit out every time I pulled up the fact that you said that you were going to sell your 823 when you got bored of it?
Yeah, probably. That's definitely
figured.
Probably what's going to happen. Yeah.
I figured. Glad I got photographic evidence then.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to sell you the 823. It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. I have to revise that statement. There's 4 pens not on the chopping block, and the 823 is one of them. Consider that statement revised, because I actually enjoy writing with it way too much, and I've got it inked up with Pelikan 4001 turquoise. And holy crap, that ink looks really good in that pen.
What nib did you get?
It's actually a broad nib. It's not a medium.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah, so even more reason why you should send it to me when you get tired of it. What? Don't look at me like that.
How did you know I was giving you the look?
Because you stopped talking.
Yeah. I hate you so much.
So how broad is a Pilot broad compared to others?
Okay, so my Brooks Charleston broad that is unmodified is a standard Yovo broad. I would say that it's slightly less broad than that.
Okay. So Pilot also has this jump between medium and broad like that Platinum has.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would love to be able to compare it to the medium on the 845, but that medium is no longer a medium. Yeah. If any listeners have a Pilot 845 that you're completely bored with and don't mind selling the pen just for the nib, let me know.
Yes, extra fine preferred.
Or if you have an 823 that you are not using that you want Phil to have, let me know.
Nah, I don't think he wants one. You can sell it to me then.
Wow. Wow, you guys are circling like sharks.
Yeah, I'm not even sure I want yet another pen with such a large ink capacity. I'm actually pretty happy with the tiny converters in Japanese pens.
Well, I mean, on the plus side, buying the 823 and the 845 pretty much made sure that I have no pen money when I go to Arizona. So that's always a plus.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just have to get more inks. So I think we've hit a good length here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phil's already asleep, I guess.
I can tell. I mean, he did go mountain biking.
I should be asleep, but I'm not asleep yet.
Oh, fair enough. Anyways, though, Phil, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Painful as always. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Is that because I'm here?
No comment. But till next time, talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.